And ALBA-TCP ships carrying in 5,000 tons of humanitarian aid arrived in Santiago de Cuba to provide relief for the eastern regions affected by the passage Hurricane Melissa. The Venezuelan National Assembly approved the draft law on the command for the integral defense of the nation aimed sanctions and threat of interference by the U.S. in the Caribbean Sea. And the death toll from a car bomb explosion that occurred on Monday near the Red Front in the Indian city of New Delhi has risen to 13. Hello and welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Marrera from the teleSUR headquarters in Caracas, Venezuela. We'll be with the news. Stay with us. In the early hours of the morning of November 11, the ALBA ship Manuel Gual arrived in Santiago de Cuba carrying in a load of 5,000 tons of various supplies distributed in 102 containers. Cuban and Venezuelan authorities oversaw the delivery of this ship, the second sent by ALBA-TCP. The supplies transported includes drinking water, basic household items, food, medicines, clothing and toys, water storage tanks, and electrical equipment. The shipments supplements previous aid of 26 tons of humanitarian supplies sent by the Venezuelan government to those affected by Hurricane Melissa in the eastern region of Cuba. In addition, this gesture of solidarity joins other regional initiatives, including the shipment of more than 240 tons of food, drinking water, and fuel by the Colombian government. In eastern Cuba, more than 93,000 homes, 1,500 schools, and 80,000 hectares of crops were affected by Hurricane Melissa. In this context, the first secretary of the Provincial Communist Party Committee in Santiago de Cuba expressed her gratitude for the solidarity of the Venezuelan people in the face of the damage caused by Hurricane Melissa.
Melissa ha sido fuerte. Todavía estamos cuantificando las severas afectaciones.
Hurricane Melissa has been severe, and we are still assessing the serious economic damage it has caused and its impact on road structures, homes, and, of course, the entire national power grid, power lines, and communications. Here, too, we are receiving assistance from the people of Venezuela. Yesterday, we were very pleased to welcome the engineers who are helping us identify the bridges that need repair, for which we obviously need their collaboration. We also assessed all the damage and possible solutions to these problems.
Todo lo que se ha afectado y las posibles soluciones a estas afectaciones.
Precisely in this context, Venezuelan authorities who recently arrived in Santiago de Cuba conducted an aerial survey diagnosing severe damage to road infrastructure and homes following Hurricane Melissa. The fundamental purpose of this Venezuelan technical mission is to provide specialized assistance in the diagnosis and rehabilitation of roads and bridges infrastructure in the areas most affected by the weather phenomenon. The Secretary of Integrated Risk Management and Civil Protection of Mexico activated orange alert after low temperatures in at least 6 districts of the capital city. In a statement, the agency specified that low temperatures could drop between 6 and 3 degrees Celsius. It also warned that approximately 12 municipalities will be affected, including Álvaro Obregón, Xochimilco, and Miguel Hidalgo. The authorities recommended that the population wear at least 3 layers of clothing, preferably cotton or wool, use creams to moisturize skin against the cold, and avoid exposure to sudden changes in temperature. Meanwhile, in the United States, the National Weather Service issued a winter weather advisory due to a drop in temperatures caused by the impact of snowstorms. The polar cold is advancing from the northeastern plain, where temperatures are dropping considerably, and a decrease is expected in much of the southern part of the country. Moving on, debates continues among international delegations at COP30 with an agenda focused on ways to help vulnerable populations in the face of climate change. In this climate summit, delegates are analyzing different strategies to assist vulnerable populations in the face of natural phenomena such as typhoons and cyclones. Meanwhile, adaptations proposals relating to climate finance, bioeconomy, artificial intelligence, and circular economy are moving forward. On this second day, an Artificial Intelligence Institute for the Climate will be presented, which seeks to incorporate the latest innovation in the sector. In the framework of COP30 in Brazil, some of the delegates have stated their opinions on the events and their priorities for their countries. Let's see some of the testimonies.
All world is here, and then we are all advocating for the global climate action to address the crisis that climate change is exacerbating in our countries. As an African country, we are a very vulnerable country, so climate change is impacted or left an impact which is very, very severe.
I think there should be priority the community driven or the community led solution, because there are a lot of indigenous people here and we have to prioritize just an inclusive energy transition. It means the inclusivity, and we have to include people, not only like the symbolic one, but it's a meaningful participation of the indigenous people and the local communities. It's kind of nice because there are a lot of space, there are a lot of forum that youth can raise their voices, and there are a lot of places as well that indigenous people can raise their voices, and I think it can help us to raise the voices from the underrepresented and the vulnerable voices.
My priority is agroecology. For the African, we need agroecology, sovereignty, alimentation. I think this time we will get a good solution, because I saw many people are engagement.
And also in this scenario, more than 3,000 indigenous people are staying in the COP village to participate in the COP30 program of activities. Belén do Pará is hosting the largest participation of indigenous peoples representative in the history of the UN Climate Change Conference. Let's take a very first break, but don't go away because we'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back to From the South. The Venezuelan parliament approved the draft law on the command for the integral defense of the nation in tensions and threats of interference by the United States in the Caribbean Sea. Members of parliament, militia representatives, and the president of the National Assembly on Tuesday debated the new regulations in defense of the national security. These legal instruments endorse the joint responsibility of the state and all Venezuelans in the face of internal and external threats. The Venezuelan government has activated 50 peace quadrants in Guarenas within the state as part of the security and territorial sovereignty strategy. The Venezuelan Minister of Interior, Justice and Peace, Diosdado Cabello, delivered 12 trucks, 50 motorcycles and 50 funds for the activation of the quadrants. The activity forms part of the action of the Third Transformation Treaty related to the public security, citizen security, internal peace, and the fight against the criminal mafia and drug gangs. Venezuela intensified the deployment of Independence 200 plan with the progressive start of command control and communications exercise at the national level. Military and popular exercises are being activated in states such as Mérida, La Guaira, Zulia, Guárico, Anzoátegui, Carabobo, and Táchira, covering the Andes, eastern regions, and the Caribbean coast.
Para garantizar los derechos constitucionales de la...
On Tuesday, the Russian State Duma unanimously approved a draft appeal on the escalation of violence by the United States near the Venezuelan coast and urged the international community to condemn these attacks in the Caribbean Sea. During this session, Russian parliamentarians called United Nations member states to condemn the increase in U.S. military presence in the Caribbean under the pretext of combating drug cartels. Moving on, the third Magic of Colors character exhibition was held in Mexico with 14 monumental rungs made as sada, sun, and lots of colors. This exhibition was held in the municipality of Ecatepec de Morelos. The striking signs are a showcase of the artist's feelings and their identity as Mexicans. Butterflies, Catrinas, and flowers are some of the motifs that decorate the streets of the city. China celebrates its cultural wealth with the inauguration of International Media Forum. The opening exhibitions includes the presentation of key opera, a tradition of great value in the nation, and was performed by young people with a soloist and a choir of more than 4 children. On Monday, the 8th China International Import Expo concluded. The event was held in the South Plaza of Shanghai Exhibition and Convention Center. The exhibition, and after reaching a record amount of more than $83 million in agreements forecasted for a year, a figure that exceeded the previous editions by more than 4%. We'll take our last break, but don't go away because we'll be right back. Welcome back. World Health Organization confirmed that in Palestine, at least 16,000 Gaza patients are still waiting to be evacuated to receive medical treatment abroad. Through a communique, WHO would highlight the need for other countries to take in Gazan patients and injured after the Palestinian health systems collapse as a result of the Israeli blockade and the shortages of supplies. In Palestine, the death toll from Israeli aggressions against the Gaza Strip exceeded 69,179, while the number of injuries total more than 170,693, according to data from the Ministry of Health. Said reports state that many of the victims remain under the rubble due to Israeli blockades of ambulances and rescue teams, as well as details the number of deaths since the ceasefire on October 11, reaching 242 deaths. The death toll from a car bomb explosion that occurred on Monday near the road front in the Indian city of New Delhi has risen to 13. The explosion occurred in one of the city's busiest areas, leaving in addition at least 19 people injured. In this context, Indian Home Minister stated that determining the cause of the incident has proven very difficult, adding that all hypotheses remains open. On Tuesday in Pakistan, at least 12 deaths were reported after a suicide bombing in front of the core of Islamabad, the country's capital. Authorities also reported at least 27 injured and state that they are investigating to find those responsible for the attack, which was mainly directed against the security forces. Iraq began general voting for its 2025 Council of Representatives elections, with polling stations opening nationwide. According to data provided by the Electoral Commission, the total number of registered voters for these general elections is more than 20 million. To facilitate the process throughout the national territory, more than 8,000 polling stations and a total of 39,285 stations were set up. Angola began the celebrations to mark its 50th anniversary as an independent nation with a civic and military parade. The main event will be held in the public square, where more than 10,000 people and 45 international delegations are expected to attend. About 6,000 people will participate in the parade, representing various sectors of Angolan society, joined by 40,000 members of the armed forces and the national police. Malaysian anti-authorities recovered at least 21 bodies after a boat capsized in the border waters. The boat, which was carrying at least 17 migrants, sank near the Thai island of Trutao, north of Malaysia, just 3 days after departing from Rakhine State in Myanmar. We have come to the end of this news brief. For teleSUR English and from the South, I'm Ana Marrero. Thank you for watching.